In this video, we're going to go ahead and practice drawing a variety of different things. This one, we're going to focus on the treble clef, the bass clef, and then three of our main landmark notes. Now, landmark notes are notes that we go ahead and use to help us find other notes. Oftentimes in music, what we don't want to do is we don't have to look at every single letter and try to figure out what every single letter is. It's easier for us to kind of look at the shape. If we're moving by step, are we moving by skip? Those kinds of things. Now, in this one, again, we're going to work on treble clef. So middle C, treble G, and then bass clef F. Those are the three notes that we're going to work on, okay? And the reason why we're working on those notes is, again, the treble clef is also known as the G clef. And so it starts on, again, that G line. So it's good to know where that line is. And then the bass clef starts on that fourth line, which is, of course, where we would end up having bass clef F. So let's go ahead and get started. This one starts with drawing the treble clef. We're going to go through the steps of doing that. So remember, with drawing the treble clef, we start on line number 2. So 1, 2. Start right here. We curl up to the middle line, curve down to the bottom line. Then we curve up so that we get up into the right so we get the number 6. Okay. Then again, we twirl to the left and straight down. And then we finish with a curl at the end. Okay, so there's your treble clef. Now after that, and it's quite light on here, but again, on your worksheets, you should be able to see it. We have middle C and then treble G. Remember, the note that's on the second line of the treble clef staff is going to be treble G. Middle C always sits in this middle portion. Whenever middle C sits closer to the treble clef or the higher staff, okay, it's going to be played with your right hand. If it's played or shown down towards the bottom staff, it's going to be played with your left hand. Now, in order to draw middle C, easiest way to do it is actually to just go ahead and draw a line and then draw a circle around that line. Kind of looks like the planet Saturn, okay? To draw a treble G, all you do is again, you go to the second line and then you just draw a circle around that. Again, these circles are what we would call note heads. So they're the heads of notes. So now there are two more that we can do. So again, here's middle C again. We draw the line and then the circle. And then for treble G, we go to the second line and we just draw a circle around the second line. Now, second step is, and this will be the same for the bass clef F, but second step is to draw your own. So in this space right here, draw your own. Over here on the right side, I've written in the numbers for you in terms of the spaces as well as the lines just to help you out. But remember, treble G is on line number 2. Now, after that, what we end up having is this. So we have the bass clef, and we're going to be dealing with middle C this time in the bass clef, and then bass clef F, okay? Something to keep in mind is that with the treble clef, middle C is underneath the treble clef, and then for the bass clef, middle C is above the bass clef. So here we go. We start with that big dot on the 1, 2, 3, 4th line, okay? 4th line. So you fill that in. Then we curve up so that we touch the top line, curve down so that we touch the bottom line. Again, we get that right side of our heart shape. Then we go ahead and fill in the dots on space number 3 and space number 4, okay? Now, in terms of drawing middle C, it's the same idea. So you start with the line through, then a circle. Then we have, of course, the line for bass clef F is the 4th line, okay? F 4th. So in the number 4, again, the number 4 starts with an F as well. So just keep that in mind as a way of remembering. So the 4th line of the bass clef is F. But 1, 2, 3, 4, go ahead and draw a head there, okay? Again, we have another middle C, so we draw the line first, and then we draw the circle. And then here we have another bass clef F, so we'll go ahead and trace that in. And then again, in this area here that's free, go ahead and draw maybe two more. Just get comfortable with it. Now, down here on the second part of our exercise, we have practice middle C to treble G. What letters are we drawing? So again, you're going to practice tracing treble clef, and then you're going to go ahead and trace the notes from C up until G, okay? So we're going to go ahead and do that. So again, with the treble clef, we start on the second line. And of course, if you wanted to go ahead and get ahead of me or try it on your own, you absolutely can. But I'll go ahead and take it through very slowly, just so we have it. So we have, of course, here, starting on the second line where G is. So 1, 2. Then we curve up to the middle line, curve down to the bottom line, curve up and to the right until we get the number 6. Then we twirl to the left and straight down. And we finish it off with a curl. Okay. After that, then we have middle C. Middle C, again, we start with that line across and then that circle around it. So that's middle C. And you can go ahead and write the letter underneath it because, again, it's asking us what letters are we drawing. Then we have the next one, which is hanging. It hangs off of the line. So this is actually a space note here before we even get to the lines and spaces on the staff. But this is the note that's a step above C, right? When we go from a line to the very next space note, that's a step. So this one is D, right? It goes A, B, C, D. Then after that, we get our first line note. So we'll go ahead and trace that in. This one is the letter after D. So it goes A, B, C, D, E. Okay. Then after E, we get the next note, which here we have it on the first space. So again, it's going to be in between those lines. It's going to be in between those lines. But this one will be the letter above E. So A, B, C, D, E, F. Right? F. And of course, we know this note because it's on the second line. This note on the second line is G. Now, then it asks you this question. What number line is the treble G on? Well, we just answered that question a second ago, but treble G is on line number 2. So it's on the second line. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and finish this off. We're going to go ahead and do the bass clef. So the bass clef, remember, starts with the big dot on the 4th line. Remember, F4. Okay, 4th line. 4th line. 4 starts with the letter F. So here we have the big dot. We curve up to the top line and then curve down to the bottom line to get the right side of our heart. Then we have a dot on the 3rd space and then a dot on the 4th space. Those two. Very nice. Then we start, again, at the top here, we have middle C. So we start with that line across. Then we go ahead and do the head, the note head as we would call it. And again, for this one, go ahead and draw the letter C. Okay? Now, after that, now we're going down. So on the piano, when we go down, we're going to the left. So what we have to be very, very careful about is that now the alphabet's going to go backwards. But this next note right here doesn't sit on the line, but it actually sits on top of the line. So you have to make sure that it doesn't cross through the line. Now, this note, again, is the letter before C. So in our alphabet, right, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right, what's the letter before C? So it goes A, B, C. So the note before C is going to be B. So we have B. If you wanted to be at the piano and try and figure out, okay, going from C down to B, that works just fine as well. Now, after that, we get a note on the top line, the 5th line. You can go ahead and trace that one in, okay? So again, what's the letter before B? It goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? So this letter right here is A, okay? Now we're going to keep going down, right? So this next one is a space note, the 4th space. So again, make sure that you're drawing the note in between the lines, okay? Now what's the letter before A, right? Because our alphabet starts with A. The way that it works, right, with the musical alphabet is we go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then we start over again. We go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So again, if I'm going through the entire alphabet and then I start over, the last note that I get to, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then goes to A. So the note before A is going to be that G. So this will be G. And then, again, we know what this one is, but this is the 4th line. Okay, 4th line. the word 4 starts with F, starts with that F sound. So again, this one right here is our bass clef F, okay? Again, on, and this will answer this question that's right here, because it says what number space, oh, and that's a typo, because that should say what number line is bass F on, okay? What number line is bass F on? It's on line number 4, okay? Line 4, okay? And that's how we draw specifically middle C, treble G, and bass clef F. This has been the video on practicing drawing.